This is topical issue once more, and today's topic is on drugs used by people. There was a song I was looking for during some other time because it was talking about things that happen. I was not able to get it, but now I have it, and I would like to use that song and use the words from that person, our resource person. He's a Kenyan comedian, and he calls himself KAJAIRO. It's a name that comes from the name Jairus, the one that is in the Bible, but he calls himself KAJAIRO, a small one. And he's a person of the city, born in the city of Nairobi. Is, I think, amongst the first people who brought the name, short form of Nairobi. He called it KAJAIRO. KAJAIRO, I'm from KAJAIRO. And when he was singing this song, he was singing that he experienced something where he was put high on drugs, and by then he was a driver of a taxi. We call them matatus here, public vehicle that carry people, and he was operating to a place called Kangemi. Kangemi means, ngemi in our Kenyan language means ululation. When you are happy and you ululate, you produce a sound. In Africa, you are happy. And this one now is not a big ululation. Kangemi, a small ululation. So everything goes with ka, ka, ka. I'm going to use him as a resource person because the time I used to watch this, he used to call his own specialty parody. And I think in Kenya, I think worldwide, nobody has his own genre of entertainment, music and comedy combined. So I'm talking from a resource person who is the best amongst the best with his own genre. It's called parody. So today's parody that I'm talking about is called NILIKONIWA. I was conned. NILIKONIWA. That is in the colloquial language we use in the streets in Kenya. We call it sheng. NILIKONIWA. I was conned. And he talks and acts like a driver from that place, presenting the scenes in such a way that you're able to explain, feel the emotions, feel the experience that somebody in that situation feels. Why am I talking about drugs? Drugs do certain things to people. There are illegal drugs. We know them. There are so many. Ecstasies and all those other names. You know them. Hemp or ganja or opium. And he was singing about this. In his song, he sings, he gave me she gave me bangi, she gave me opium. So I'm just going to imitate him and go with different songs, different towns. She gave me bangi, she gave me bango in Cairo. She gave me dagger in Johannesburg. She gave me cannabis in New York town. She gave me ganja In Mumbai, she gave me opium. In London town, she gave me marijuana. In Buenos Aires. And then we come to Nairobi. 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 And we leave it there. If you want to get the sweetness in it, download NILIKONIWA. You will feel the beats, feel the emotions, and enjoy something from the best parody artists in the world. But leaving that aside, there are drugs. I'm going to talk of different categories of drugs. There are those that use drugs that make them high. Cannabis being the most common. There are those who use opium. There are those who use other drugs like cocaine from the poppy plant, flower grown around the world. These drugs have been causing a lot of hazards in many countries. There are countries that say these drugs are illegal, but what is interesting is in these countries that make these drugs illegal, in some other continents, there are legal smoking places or taking places for these drugs. It's interesting. An illegal drug in a country where it's considered illegal being smoked in a legal enclosure. Sounds interesting. But such a things happen. What has been happening is when these drugs are over-refined, they cause problems. We have had addicts and people become junkies. It's a bad thing. And why is this thing becoming bad? In the old days, people had some things they would smoke, some things they would take, and it wasn't restricted. Like I was told during the old days, some of them would take, it's called cannabis, a bit of cannabis. They would take it and then they said it would chase away demons, and sometimes they were high on it. There was a war that was fought, the Opium War. A country attacked another country to force them to take. That was the past, that's history. There are drugs that make people high. These drugs have caused problems in certain countries because they are illegal. But the interesting thing is, in those countries that are make them illegal, some have found it necessary to make it legal. And why am I saying they have found it necessary and have made it legal? It is making a kill for some farmers, but it is sort of a solution to a bigger problem. America has done that. Some states have legalized, some others have not. I don't know if it's the whole. And some other countries are doing that. Why? Because when you make something illegal, you make it expensive. You make many people crave for it. And then that's where problems begin. Things like XTC, over-refined things, and all that. You find people mixing chemicals of all nature to get to other people, which result to junkie problems. I don't know about the approach of those other countries, but there are people who are addicted. I would not encourage, but for a country that is having this with addicts and whatever, let's ask ourselves, why are the Americans and these other people lessening the restrictions? Because they were so strict. But now they are sort of lifting the restrictions. There has to be a reason. Because when you make something illegal, you make it profitable. And when you make it profitable, people will go to all lengths to get it. There was a country in Africa where I was checking before I talked of bango and daga and cannabis around the world, and marijuana, but there was a country that I found interesting. I looked in one country and they had written, there is illegal marijuana or cannabis, and there is legal. And I was trying to gauge why is there that balance. There has been problems, but there have been solutions in that when you make something easily available and within places without restriction, most of the people lose interest. And the few who take, it's so cheap that people cannot be able to move it anymore, they lose the interest in it. I was in a boarding school. Boarding school is a school where you stay. And there were days that we were told not to go out of school. We were only given one day, a Sunday. On Sunday, you could go anywhere. And people never used to go out on Sunday. Many didn't like it. But within the days that we were restricted, people would sneak. And it was exciting to sneak. So when something is over-restricted, then people find it worthy to peddle, worthy to push. I don't know why the Americans did that, but I find there's some sense. Maybe when people sit down and think, I'm not an expert in anything, I'm not, it's not that I know everything. These are just my thoughts. But I think when you make something less restricted, first, the price goes down. Second, very few people like getting high on these things. And third, having the grade that will make you a junkie becomes low. So in the removal of the restrictions, already you would have dissuaded people from going for it. In some countries, it works. It becomes less expensive. It's not very profitable to farm. For those who take the risk of using it, they find it's not worth. It's just like cigarettes. Tobacco is grown. How many people take cigarettes? People are quitting cigarettes. So for the same reason, even if hemp is put at that level that it can be accessible, and then what happens? How many people have the interest in that thing? When you talk about it not being good, and there are those people who are marketing these things, doing it secretly, will not be able to do it because it hasn't got that much money to trade in. Two, you will stop things like cocaine being manufactured in illegal companies where chemicals are injected in that they make people junkies. That is what I think the countries that are legalizing, or the countries that are having it was restricted. I had friends from some European countries, and they would tell me there are some places where they take, it's legal within those places. It may be illegal to get into the country, but within certain quotas. And I was wondering why, because the rules were so strict in most of the countries. And what I came to realize is that when you make something unavailable, it becomes very expensive, very interesting, and people are excited to follow it up. Today I was watching news on our TV, and I saw another drug. This one is an interesting one. A drug for normal running activities, athletics. They call it a blue pill. And people have been looking for illegal ways of getting these things. they're smuggled and things like that. And people die from these things. It is good that people are interfering, but people should be told, is it really necessary unless you have a very serious problem to take the blue pill? Must you be an Olympic class runner? Because some people have died in the race. Is it worth dying so that you are seen to be a real athlete? Those are questions that we should take to people. We thank the invention of that, but the doctors should prescribe. It should be made available, right? But then, what happens? There are chances that people with problems may end up getting the drugs. But the question is, must we be Olympic class runners? Why don't we run at our paces? Because there's no need of being an Olympic class runner and at the end of the line, you die. What's the point? Run at your own paces? Life is beautiful. We are not all champion runners. Run at your pace. That is my take. And what I was saying was about drugs. Oh, there's something small that I left. Sometimes drugs are used to confuse people and we get into difficult problems. Like the one that KAJAIRO was singing. There are times when people are given drugs so that you are robbed. You're given drugs so that you are confused and you are led to wrong places. So we should avoid taking of drugs that we don't know in places we don't understand, and everything will be okay. Even when it comes to running at your own pace. That is my take for today.